Hello, once again, everybody, and welcome into the Unash and Dukes podcast. As two of us are in the continental United States, one is in Croatia. We'll let you guess who that is coming up in a moment. I'm Scott, Mark Dukes, to my left, as you view, Mark Ironside below. It is the Unash and Dukes podcast. Welcome in here on YouTube, as well as crmlivesports.com, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X/Twitter, however you're joining us here today. We do appreciate it. And we also appreciate all of our great sponsors. Our presenting sponsor, Emo's Hideaway at First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids, across from Lindale Mall, next to the Home Depot, and open at 4 o'clock on Monday through Saturday. And the terrific segment sponsor with Mark Ironside. That, of course, Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance on Johnson Avenue Northwest in Cedar Rapids, right across from the Johnson Avenue Hy-Vee. And stop on by. First of all, thank Kurt for helping out with this segment. Then you can talk about all of your policies and your insurance needs with Kurt, and he'll set you up. And just a great man. And we thank him for everything that he does for us. We have Mark Ironside. This is a first, Mark Dukes. This is I believe, the farthest from the home base that we have ever talked to a guest. As Mark Ironside is joining us, it is 6 hours ahead. So it is
Seven.
Wednesday night
Yeah,
in
it's
Croatia.
7 hours ahead. It's 9:45 p.m. here.
Oh, 9:45. So we're keeping you up.
Well, yes and no. I've been going to bed about 10 each night, and then I've been waking up at like around 1:30 in the morning and cannot get back to sleep until about 4 a.m. But then that 4 a.m. to 7:30 or so, I sleep hard, like really, really hard. Matter of fact, I slept so hard this morning, I overslept. Almost missed the bus to go over to the arena. I had 10 minutes to get up, get my stuff gathered, and get downstairs and hop on the bus.
Well, you've never been there, Mark. What was the trip like? What's the food like? What's Croatia like?
My mom was telling me that, oh, Croatia's nice. I just was watching Wheel of Fortune the other day, and the person that was like had an opportunity to win a trip to Croatia. I'm like, well, that's not what I'd pick if that was I'd take the boat or the car before the trip to Croatia. That is for sure. Um, I mean, in all fairness, I mean, it's wintertime here and it's been raining here since I've been here, and it's supposed to rain for the next 3 days while I'm here. And the high's like 40 degrees. So if you can just imagine back home, basically, if it was 40 degrees and raining every single day, I mean, I'm not here for a vacation. We're in Zagreb, which is basically in the middle of the country. So it's not like we're on the coast or anywhere super nice. I mean, it's a very older city and kind of run down and a lot of old buildings. Matter of fact, what did wake me up, thankfully, this morning was I could hear a crushing ball crushing a building and wrecking a building down. That's actually what woke me up. So, but the food and the people are nice. This is honestly, for all the traveling I've done overseas, which it's been 26 years since I've traveled overseas, this is the nicest facilities and that I've ever been in. I've never been in never been nowhere nice, even remotely like close to this. But I'm sure everything is upgraded over the last 26 years. But it's nice, way nicer than I expected.
Good. Of course, you're over there to do some coaching. And how is that going so far?
It's good. I actually got a chance to coach Austin DeSanto and Spencer Lee a little bit today. So Brandon Sorensen is here with them. And you get two coaches. You get one right in your corner, and then you get what's called a back corner. So you get allowed one coach right in the corner and then one kind of in the back corner. And I back cornered Austin in a couple of his matches today, and then also Spencer in his semifinals, and then actually coached Austin by myself, the main coach, because at that time Sorensen had to coach Spencer because Spencer and Austin were both wrestling at the same time. So I'm learning. There's some rules here that coaches have to abide by, and so I'm learning that system. So come Friday, when I'm here to coach Macy Kilty, then I kind of know what I'm doing. So got the kinks worked out today, and then Stevie Buchanan's up tomorrow, so I'll probably do some back corner coaching for him as well too. So, and then because I think tomorrow, Austin and Spencer actually fly home tomorrow, but Stephen Buchanan and Sorensen will be here. Obviously, Sorensen's staying with Buchanan tomorrow as well too. So I'll help out with that as well as get Macy ready and get her workouts in for her tomorrow, and then she goes on Friday morning.
So bring people up to date. Spencer Lee won gold at this particular
Spencer
Open.
Lee, Spencer Lee
Okay.
did win gold. He beat RBY, Roman Bravo Young, who used to wrestle at Penn State, who now still trains at Penn State, but he wrestles for Mexico. He had him in the finals tonight, and he got a takedown right away, trap arm gut, and then Roman Bravo's Young, sorry, yawning a little bit. Roman Bravo Young's knee got injured, and so he couldn't continue. So I don't know, halfway through the first period or so, they had to stop the match, and he won on injury default when Spencer was up 4-0. And then Austin, crazy deal today. First match right out of the gate, first match on the mat. Sorensen was in the corner, I was in the back corner, and you talk about getting thrown into the coaching situation and what to do right away. It's so goofy, but I've never seen anything like it. But the first match, he's wrestling a guy, a really good guy from Iran, and the guy hits a move on Austin, which I thought was only 2, but the refs gave 4. And Sorensen turned around and looked at me and said, "Should we challenge it?" And I'm like, "No, that was for sure only 2. But I don't think they're going to overturn it or give it to us here." I said, "Let's keep the pace of the match going and just not over. It's first period. It's early in the match." I said, "Plus, if you challenge something and you don't win, well, then you give up another point to your opponent." So Austin was down 6-2. If we lose the challenge, even though I thought for sure it was only 2, but you just never know, and I just didn't think it was risky enough to throw the challenge. Then if say we lose it, now he's down 7-2. So I was like, this is Austin DeSanto. He wins most of his matches by his pace. It's the first match out of the gate, coming off a 2-hour weigh-in. I knew that Iranian was going to get tired. So I said, let's just go. Don't challenge. Keep the pace going. So we do. And then going in, I think he was down 8-2 going into the second period, the second 3-minute period, because you get 3 minutes, 30-second break, and then 3 minutes. And he was down 8-2. He storms back, ties it up 8-8, and then a big scramble happened. I thought we should have came out of that scramble ahead by 4 points, and we came out of that scramble. And I wanted to challenge in this scramble because the referees were holding up points, but then they weren't putting them on the scoreboard. So Sorensen's like, "Do we challenge?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we definitely have to challenge, but let's wait, see what they put on the scoreboard." Well, they start the wrestling again before the points are even on the scoreboard. So, and then by that time, then they get into another scramble. It happens so fast, they get into another scramble. And then as they're scrambling there, and it's all the scramble's done, they go out of bounds, it comes back, and Austin is tied 11-11, with Austin has his square lit up around his blue. So he was ahead. Like it's tied 11-11, but he was ahead on criteria. So we wanted to challenge that scramble situation there, but then we're like, well, we're ahead now, so why would we challenge it? Because if we challenge it and we lose, well, then that gives the other guy a point and he wins the match. There's only 4 seconds left in the match. So they wrestle out the 4 seconds. Austin wins 11-11 on criteria. Well, then they stand out there forever and ever and ever, and they're looking over there. They said it was a computer glitch, and then actually the computer messed up, and it was supposed to be the Iranian that was ahead 11-11. So then we want to challenge, okay, let's go back to this in this spladle situation, the scramble then, and our button won't work. Like you push a button to challenge and you're supposed to light up to like, we want to challenge. It won't work. And then they don't let us challenge it. They won't let us challenge it. So then Austin loses with all this fiasco going on. He actually ends up losing. They give the victory to the Iranian. So then afterwards, Sorensen goes off with Austin, and I stay here and try to argue with the referees. And the referees, I mean, they were super apologetic and nice, and some I spoke English and said, "I'm sorry, computer glitch, computer glitch." I said, "Yeah, but the button doesn't work either. The button doesn't." She goes, "I'm sorry. Like what do you want me to do? I want you to go back, but it's too late. The wrestlers are gone, and there's nothing you can do. Um, so it just kind of sucked. But what happened is then the Iranian, who had nothing left in the tank because Austin just took everything out of him. And these matches at the beginning are like super fast. You got a 20-minute time frame between matches. And some of these guys today, literally, like even Austin, when he was going to wrestle his third match, he had to wait, I would say, like 4.5 minutes just so they could get him to his 20 minutes. I mean, you're wrestling like every 20 minutes. You don't have a lot of time for rest. So anyway, the Iranian was spent from that match with Austin, goes and wrestles Arman from India, who Arman from India was an Olympic bronze medalist, so he's freaking good, and techs the Iranian 11-0. Well, then I go out with Sorensen with Spencer. So the next match I go out with Austin, and I don't remember who he's wrestling, but he got a tech right away. And then his next match, he's wrestling Arman from India, who beat teched the Iranian, and we're up, I think, like 8-2 or something. We were going to probably tech him, and Austin put him to his back and pinned him in a like a whip over. So at the end of the day, then it goes off of a point system. Which wrestler has the most points? Well, Austin ended up winning the tournament because the Iranian got teched and didn't score a single point against Arman, the India guy. So he didn't get any points for that match. But Austin got points in the match he lost because he scored points, and he got an extra point for the fall. So when it came down to the point system, he ended up winning the whole tournament on the point system on criteria. So it worked out.
All works out.
Yeah.
Never thought crazy. You'd be in that situation 30 years ago, did you?
No. I learned a lot. So hopefully nothing like that happens tomorrow and they got all the kinks worked out. So
make sure your button works right away. Can you push it?
Yeah, to test it out. Yeah, we should. Well, I thought about the next people that were coming up. The next people that were coming up in our corner were from Japan. I literally turned around, like wanted to kind of like point to them, tell them that, hey, that button doesn't work. But then I seen that they were wrestling James Green from the US, so I was like, we'll just leave that.
How'd Spencer
and
Lee
then
look?
The guy from Japan ended up beating James Green too. So, and James Green, I think he was going for bronze. I don't know if he ended up winning that match or not. So as far as the US goes, Spencer won, Austin won, David Carr won, and Parker Keckheisen from UNI won, and Zahid Valencia, who was a world champion for us last year, which was in the same bracket as Parker Keckheisen, got teched, I think in the quarters, and then Parker Keckheisen ended up winning that bracket. So, and there's a lot of other guys here too, and a lot of them wrestle tomorrow as well too. It's all done in one day. It's not a 2-day tournament. Your weight class, it goes from start to finish all in one day.
Why is this particular tournament important, Mark?
It's the first of the ranking series tournaments. So what they have in an international level, or they have four tournaments throughout the year that you can basically build points for a point system in. And the more points you build, the higher ranking that you're going to have. The higher ranking you are is what gets you your seed at the World Championship. So come October at the World Championship, so these people try to go to these ranking tournaments to build points in a point system, so that the higher they rank, the higher the seed they get at the World Championships. And also too, your placing at the World Championships from the year before, if you're in the top 4, those points carry over as well too. So that's part of it as well too. So it's very important to a lot of these people. So then 2 weeks from now is another ranking tournament in Albania. So I believe Spencer's going to that one as well too. I don't know if he knows it or not yet, but I know Tom wants him to go to it. And like Macy Kilty, she'll go to that one as well too here in a couple of weeks. So and then I think there's another one in March. And then you have the Pan Ams, which is another points tournament that you can build your ranking, which is in May. And that's actually the Pan Am games this year are actually Extreme Arena in Corville.
Home game. Very good. Very good. How's have you looked at, Macy's draw and things like that?
Yeah, it's a blind draw when it comes to this tournament, completely blind draw. And she has definitely got the tough side of the bracket. Every good girl in the bracket pretty much is on her side. So if she's going to win this tournament, she's going to have to go through a gauntlet tomorrow or Friday. Um, First round, I don't really know anything. She has a Russian first round. She's a young Russian, supposedly like really high and upcoming young Russian. And then second round, if she wins, she'll have a girl that she split with last year. She actually got beat by her at a ranking tournament last year, but then ended up beating her at the World Championships last year. So they split. And then if she wins that one in the semi, she'll have a really good girl from Japan who Macy, I believe, wrestled in the finals of the World Championships back in when I think the U17 Worlds or something like that, or maybe U23 Worlds or something. I can't remember, but Macy beat her, but she's really, really good. And then I don't know who she'd have in the finals over there, but yeah, she's definitely on the tough side for sure. And the thing about Macy too is something else you have to consider is, so I don't know if a lot of people out there listening, I know we're spending a lot of time on international wrestling right now. So on the world, you have worlds and then you have the Olympics, which are basically the same thing. They just call the Olympics every fourth year instead of the World Championships. During the years where it's the World Championships, they have 8 weight classes for men and women. On the Olympic year, they only have 6. So they rearrange kind of all the weights. So like last year, Macy wrestled 65 kilos at the World Championships, but that's not a Olympic weight. So she can either go down a weight class or go up a weight class. And it doesn't really make sense for her to go down a weight class because when she was wrestling 65, she didn't have to cut a lot of weight for it, only like a kilo or two. It wasn't a ton of weight. She basically just had to watch her weight like the day before, a couple of days before. Um, and then also Kennedy Blades, who is here as well wrestling, is at 68 kilos, the next weight up, which is the Olympic weight. And Kennedy Blades and her like teammates and friends and stuff, they've actually wrestled twice in the past. The Macy's beat her both times, but those were years ago. But just to kind of prevent conflict where it just makes more sense to her to go down from 65 to 62 kilos. So this is a first time for her making weight at the 62 kilo as well too. So we've been on a pretty good strict regimen trying to get her down to weight in a very smart and safe manner this week, and really watching every last couple weeks really, but especially since we've been here as well too.
Mark, some people might have thought you had to leave the country after the Minnesota loss. Was that the case?
Not the case. Not the case, but that was bad. That was bad. You know, it's tough. It's tough to beat Tom Brands, and I sure hope he doesn't ever listen or watch this podcast, but because he'd be pissed at me for making excuses for him. But I mean, it's tough to beat Tom Brands because our 25 pounder, who, woulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda, if he wrestled, won that match at 125 pounds. Dean Peterson, he got hurt in the Penn State match, hurt his neck. Guy was in on a shot. He tried to roll, kind of jammed his own head, neck into the mat and injured his neck. So he was out for who did we wrestle after Penn State? He was out for, I don't even remember.
Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska. He was out for Nebraska. Well, he's healthy. His finally neck's getting better. He could come back and wrestle against Minnesota. And God forbid he gets pneumonia that week, gets sick as a dog and has pneumonia that week. So he can't go. So it's like poor Tom's like, and now I don't have him because he's got pneumonia. And that's a difference. That's a 6-point swing right there in that match. And then we got Ferrari out, which, that's a tough match for Ferrari, that Gabe Arnold lost, but it's not a guarantee match for the Hawks by any means, even with Ferrari in the lineup. But it's a chance for us to win that match that we didn't win that match. There's another 6-point swing. And then, it just sucks about the whole Dean thing, not having a 97 pounder in there and just we get beat at 97 too. There's another at the bare minimum 6-point swing. So that's the outlook that some people just don't take into consideration. I mean, some things, the cards are really kind of stacked against them there. And I know there's a lot of stuff out on the internet about Dean and this and that, and they blame Tom for it. I know what happened. I know what's going on, and I don't blame Tom one iota. And But with that being said, we still could have won that duel without Peterson and without Ferrari and without Indian. We still had an opportunity to win that duel for sure. And that's where the issue kind of lies. Like, why? It's not how you lose. It's not winning and losing like we talked about, but it's how you lose. And the way we lost is just unacceptable. It's unacceptable how we lost some of those matches. Drake Ayala looked amazing. Drake was back. Drake's going to have a huge match, which we'll talk about, here in a little bit, coming up against Ohio State, against Davino from Ohio State. But he's back. He looked good. He looked awesome. He got bonus points when he need it. Caliendo looked good. He got bonus points for us, and you just love Patrick Kennedy. We needed a major at that point in time in the match to even keep us in the dual meet, and he had to fight like heck because the guy he was wrestling knew that he couldn't give up a major. That was big on him, and he did everything in the world to prevent from getting majored. He didn't even try to win the match, just not get majored, and Patrick Kennedy found a way to get the major, and that was enormous at that point in time in the match. Ryder Block has to get his weight under control. I mean, he just did not look good. Usually, at least he comes out hard and then kind of fades throughout the match. And then that match, he didn't even come out hard. He just looked terrible. And I don't even need to talk about 41 and 57. 97, I was kind of disappointed in Luggington. I thought that he would have a lot more to offer there at 97 for us, and he really didn't. I thought that was a match we could still possibly get, and we didn't. So yeah, it looked bad. Some of those matches that we definitely should have, could have, would have won, and the way we lost them, and the way we gave up bonus when we should have never given up bonus and just quit in a couple of situations. It's unacceptable. Completely unacceptable.
And that's what got, I think, the go to Tom afterwards.
Tom,
in his talk.
I think from when I interviewed him on the post match show, I think that was the one I could tell just by his demeanor that duel right there got to him. That one was what, like, he didn't make him snap or anything like that or lose control, but that's the one that kind of like said, you know what, enough is enough. And then when I went up to the locker room and got my workout gear because I worked out beforehand, and I was kind of listening to the meeting, and Tom was calling some guys out. He was definitely calling some guys out, and which was for sure needed. For sure needed. I think, honestly, which people would probably think, what? Are you kidding me? I think Tom's too soft on these guys sometimes. I think he's too nice to them. I think probably should have called these guys out, a long time down the road, and not gotten to this. But I mean, he let him have it. He finally called him out, and so we'll see. Going into switching gears and going into hey, speaking of that, though, before we do, Keeter came out and got the first shot, first score. That was big for him. He didn't wait until the end. He didn't wait till overtime. He didn't wait till the last 30 seconds. He did a great job, got that first score. Unfortunately, he still should have had another takedown the second period, another takedown the third period, and continue to develop and build that lead throughout the match. But at least he came out right away and got a tough first score takedown. So that was big. But going into Ohio State, this is a big duel. It's going to be a very, very hostile environment. I went through the lineups. We have potential. When I say potential, I mean, it could happen. We could win 25. We could win 33. We're not taking Nasir Bailey at 41 against the number one ranked 41 pounder in the country, Mendez. We're taking Cale Peterson instead, which I think is super smart because we got teched and absolutely embarrassed at the national duels at 41. I would rather forfeit than have to watch that again. I just think from a team standpoint, I think that was the smart thing to do because we could win 25, possibly win 33, even though we lost 10-4 against him at the duels. We could win 49. 57 is a win. We could win 57. Win 65. We could win 74. We could win 84, and we could win heavyweight. We could win, how many is that? Eight matches. We could win 8 matches in that dual meet. And everybody's completely counting us out like we have no chance. So, I don't know. We'll see. We have potential to win 8 matches, and man, what a turning point. What a turning point for this program if they could pull that off.
Hey, Mark, it just sounds like in talking about Tom Brands and some of the stuff that's out there that, you know, from Tom's standpoint, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So kind of
Yeah.
thing in terms of mentality, and you need to do this, you need to do that, and then they get on the mat, and in certain situations, giving up unacceptable, and fans know that, Tom knows that, you know that, but certain situations you just throw up your hand, you know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. And I don't know, a perfect example is I was in the room on what day was that dual meet? Saturday or Sunday? It was Friday. We were in there on Friday, and I went in on Saturday morning, and I put Macy and Kilty and Kennedy Blaze through a workout Saturday morning. And when I got done, I was working on my own Asana and sitting out there, and Keeter come walking in, and he sat down next to me and was just kind of talking, and I'd say, "Hey, great job, getting that first takedown," because I told him the night before too, or before that duel, right before that duel, I said, "Hey, first takedown, stud, first takedown. You got to score first. Focus on scoring first." Right away. And again, I was like, "Hey, awesome job." And he sits down and he's like, "Yeah, but I need more. Like, why can't I take what I do in practice when I wrestle Stephen Buchanan on a regular basis and I hold up and what I do in practice, I just don't understand why I can't take that, what I do here in the room and then allow it to happen out on the real live wrestling mat." And that's the golden question. Like where is that coming from? Why are these guys they perform in the room, but yet then they don't perform out in the when it counts? And so I don't know. That's the frustrating thing for Tom. I think it's a head scratcher for Tom. And I mean, look at Drake Gaiella. I mean, look at how much he struggled early on, and then all of a sudden he's snapped out of it, and he looks amazing. It's just like you knew it was there the whole time. I mean, he's a two-time national finalist for crying out loud. Where was that at? Now he's got a gauntlet of his own coming up. He's got Davino coming up Friday night, and then he's got Jax Forrest. When we go to Oklahoma State, I mean that 133-pound bracket is the toughest weight in the country for sure. Like insanely tough. And but let's see, it's going to be a good opportunity to kind of see where he's at. Where now when he's starting to fire on all cylinders, but this is a huge, huge match for him come Friday night, and a huge match for the team.
Yeah. And then Michigan State on Sunday,
Yeah.
up in East Lansing. Michigan State's obviously not one of the top teams in the league, but
No,
uh,
that should be a dual meet where we should hopefully win all 10 matches. And if things don't go good for us against Ohio State on Friday night, it's honestly good timing for our schedule to go somewhere like that and put up a ton of points on the scoreboard and kind of get things rolling and back in your favor again, only being 2 days later. And then we've got Michigan at home that next Friday night, which is senior night. It's the last duel at home. So that'll be a good one for us to, it was kind of like Minnesota, I mean, Michigan's down a little bit right now, but not bad. And it's shouldn't be an issue, but I didn't think Minnesota would be either. So I mean, you got to take everybody serious and be ready to go every time you step on the mat. And that's the thing about Iowa is every time someone comes into our house or we go somewhere, you're going to get nothing but the best performance out of your opponent. When they face Iowa, they give you there's nobody on earth they like to beat more than Iowa, and I've said that 1,000 times over. And so we have to be ready to go for these matches as soon as you step foot on the line.
What's on TV over there, Mark?
I don't know. What's crazy is, um, I was joking when I first got here. First of all, I've never been into a hotel like even remotely like this. When I traveled on overseas years ago, I mean it was bad, like really bad. This TV, this room is like an American room except for it's way smaller. But I actually have a nice TV in here, and it had my name on the screen. And I walked in. I was like, "Jeez." I never expected this. Now, I can't somehow get it switched over from Croatian language, whatever that is, to English. I don't know how to do that. And I tried it the first night for a second, and then I was like, "Ah, screw it." So I haven't turned the TV on again since. But I will say this, and Macy was making fun of me on the way over here. I haven't flown. I mean, I've flown a ton around the country in the last 26 years, but I've never flown overseas. And when you fly overseas, you get, you watch movies. Your flight's 9 hours long. And so anytime I'd ever flown overseas, it's like you're just hoping that you were semi close to the TV that's up like up above that people can see and watch, or it's on the wall or something like that. And then you plug your headphones into the seat next to you, and then whatever movie comes on, if it's Happy Gilmore, oh, I guess we're watching Happy Gilmore today. Because you don't get a choice. Whatever movie they put up, that's it. So then I sit down, and that's what I was expecting. I sit down, and I got a screen on the back of the seat in front of me, the size of my computer, and it's got like this menu, and you can go through like you're like watching TV at home. It's like got comedy, it's got drama, it's got action, it's got all this stuff you can swipe by. And I was like, Macy was right across the aisle from me. I was like, can we watch any one of these we want for free? And she just started laughing at me like, yes, you can. I was like, all right. So it helped with the flight over here. I watched a movie I'd never seen before, and it was pretty funny. It was okay, and it helped pass the time. And I got really lucky on the way over too, because I was in the middle, and there's three seats across the middle, and I had nobody. I was on the aisle, but I had nobody in the middle or the other end seat, so I could lift up the arm rail in the middle, and then I literally lay down. Luckily, it's good for me that I'm short, and lay down and put some blankets over me and a couple pillows, and I was able to get a couple good hours sleep on that, laying across there too. So it worked out. Hopefully it's like that on the way back.
I hope so for you. And I hope you bring a gold medal back.
I hope so too. That'd be nice. It'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be good. Well, very successful, and congratulations to Wartburg, who beat Augsburg in the
Oh yeah,
Battle of the
cool.
Bergs.
Nice. That's awesome.
So,
Also, congratulations to John Osendorf. I seen he's getting inducted to the National Wrestling College Athletic Association Hall of Fame. And then also Clayton Rush, I saw is getting inducted to the Hall of Fame for Co-College. So good for those guys. Ozzy's such a great coach. He's such an awesome, awesome coach and a great person, and very deserving of that honor for sure.
he is. And a golfer.
He is a golfer. He plays with us every year for the Hawkeye Wrestling Club golf outing. He hit that ball a long,
Yes,
long,
he does.
long ways.
Coach O is a
You have no
big
idea
golfer.
where the hell it's going, but he hits it a long ways.
All right. All right. Safe travels, man. We'll talk next Wednesday.
All right. Sounds good, fellas. Thanks for tuning in all the way from listening to me all the way from Croatia.
All right. Happy
All right.
trails.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Mark.
That is Mark Ironside joining us from Croatia, the farthest, most remote spot we've ever had a guest join us, whether it's on this platform or previous platform.
That was better than if Mark was in a tree stand somewhere, and he's been in a tree stand.
Yes, he
Not
has.
not visually, but back in our radio days, he did it from a tree stand, and that was fun.
That
Appreciate Mark
was.
doing that.
That was fun. And thanks to Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance. Kurt, of course, on Johnson Avenue Northwest in Cedar Rapids. And stop on by, see him, talk things over, and he can offer you a variety of discounts, whether you're purchasing a car, buying property, managing an investment property, starting a small business, etc. See Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance, our great presenting sponsor, Emel's Hideaway, First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids as well. And Hunt Graphic Innovations, and they are the personal touch that counts. They help us out with our CRMLivesports.com website. Bim Ritter Sportswear, downtown Cedar Rapids, at bimritter.com, or call 364-3479, your one-stop store for screen print and embroidery for polos, t-shirts, hats, and more. And Dr. John Woolner, Epiphany Dermatology on Council Street Northeast in Cedar Rapids with over 30 years of experience. Thanks to all our great, great sponsors. And been talking a lot of wrestling. Happy Curling Day, Mark, to start the Olympics. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. I'm excited for the Olympics in general, and see if Lindsey Vonn can make it down the hill on one leg, and the hockey team, and all that goes with it. I'm ready for it.
I believe the United States is in action today in curling. If I saw the schedule correctly. Um, Japan is in action. I know that. Switzerland, the Swiss. I have no idea what to expect from the Swiss. Uh, More importantly, before we go, and listen, this has been bantered about, well, two things. Number one, the Big Ten. Apparently, Mick Cronin is now the mouthpiece of all that is wrong with the Big Ten, the UCLA men's basketball coach. First of all, he complained on the fact that his team has a brutally tough schedule, having to fly cross country, come back, have to play 2 days later, et cetera, et cetera. Well, nobody forced you to go to the Big Ten, UCLA. So quit complaining. His latest rant was about his good friend Steve Peichel, who he said he compared college athletics and big time college basketball is akin to Major League Baseball at this point because it needs to have a salary cap. And poor Steve Peichel can't win at Rutgers. Well, he's won at Rutgers. By the way, he had two top 10 draft choices last year that somehow made it to Rutgers. And I guarantee you it wasn't for the Waters in, Piscataway. So they got some money in New Jersey last year. Didn't go well, but they still had two top 10 draft choices, Mark. I had to get that off my chest. Cronin's annoying me right now, and I like Mick Cronin.
Well, that's the way of the Big Ten, and I think in some ways he knows that he signed up for it, but it doesn't dismiss the fact that you have to travel so many miles and play odd odd times like I was tonight at 10 o'clock Central Time. And uh, it is what it is. And when you go coast to coast, you're going to have this sort of thing. And, for Iowa, playing a 10 o'clock game once a year, it's probably not that big a deal. It's annoying. I don't know if I'm going to stay up. Remains to be seen. But I think Cronin has found a soapbox uh, to make some comments, and he's continuing with that. And you know, yeah, to me, it is what it is. You don't have to coach UCLA if you don't want to. But fact is, he's right about a lot of things.
You mentioned 10 o'clock start for Iowa. People are having a conniption about that as well. Hey, there's a reason when the Big Ten expanded, when they started saying, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, and all these things. Like you said, Iowa was going to get tagged with one of these. Is a 10 o'clock start ideal? No. Uh, we were young once, Mark. It's not going to bother the players. It's going to bother the coaches and the fans more. It's going to bother the players. They're going to be okay. I'd rather play late at night than to be on the other end of the spectrum and say play if you're a West Coast team like an 11 o'clock Eastern time game, which is 8 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning. I'd rather
yeah,
have it the way it is for Iowa right now. But they've been out in the West Coast for 3 or 4 days. I think they're probably a little bit more acclimated to it now.
yeah. And it's not. It's the obviously the television dictates this, and that's why it's at 10 o'clock at night. It's not that Iowa or Washington. Washington may not want an 8 o'clock local time game tonight. So it's dictated by TV. We know that. No use complaining about it. But you know, Mick Cronin will.
And if you want to look ahead, there are a couple of 8 o'clock starts in Iowa City down the line before the season is over. And Hawks will enjoy their first sellout at Carver Hawkeye Arena in 2+ years when Purdue comes for the St. Valentine's Day game at Carver
Hmm.
Hawkeye Arena. So um, people are getting behind this team again.
Yeah, it's good to see. And I'm not surprised that that game sold out. I am a little bit, I guess, but not totally. That's a high quality opponent. It's at home. pretty favorite. I think mid-afternoon game, isn't it?
Yep,
Something
four
like that.
o'clock.
So yeah, I'm not surprised, I guess, but and it's good to see. Iowa needs more of them.
They do. They do. And before we go, Major League Baseball is it's a mess. It's a mess with the media. Um, there are something like what, two handfuls of teams who have not been paid by the FanDuel Sports Network, including the Cardinals and the Royals are thrown in. Are the Twins thrown into that mix as well, Mark?
No.
Okay, they're not among those teams. Major League Baseball is going to take care of their television productions for the 2026 season. Um, what's that mean? Well, it means that you have to pay out of pocket now to Major League Baseball. It's going to cost on the average 99.99 Earl Scheib to watch your favorite baseball team. And people in the state of Missouri are up in arms. And Cardinal fans all over and Royals fans all over are up in arms due to the fact that now, even though they're not going to be on the former FanDuel network, that okay, you got to pay for that, if you will, on your cable, on your basic sports package or what have you. And now you got to pay and dump another $99 if you want to watch the Cardinals or the Royals in there. We we know how bad Major League Baseball has fouled up the media, and especially in the state of Iowa, as we are blacked out pretty much by everything. And why why can't Major League Baseball figure things out and get things right?
Yeah, I know. I don't think anybody likes to pay, this for that, and have 18 different subscriptions and whatnot. But I think we knew that we were headed for these times, and in terms of baseball, I'm thankful to see the Twins whenever I can because we come from a time that it was the Superstation, it was WGN, and Saturday afternoon baseball, and the Twins were on a little bit on Channel 7 back in the day, but we come from a time that we couldn't watch every game, and I think we become spoiled. Um, with your White Sox have been very accessible over the years, and someday you may have to pay to see the White Sox. To me, next year they might have to pay me to see the Twins. I don't know.
You got to have faith, man. At least tell the Dodgers run away with it.
Yeah.
and the and maybe the Blue Jays as well. All right. Good show. Good
Yep.
podcast. Thanks to all our great sponsors. Glad we were able to connect to Mark in Croatia. That made my day right there. Doesn't even matter what bowling does tonight. Oh, it does.
Internet's a wonderful thing.
Yes, it
Appreciate
is.
Mark doing that.
All right. Thanks to all our great sponsors and for our Mark Ironside and for Mark, I'm Scott. Thanks for joining us. It's been the Unash and Dukes podcast, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.